Hello guys and welcome to Excited Nuclear channel, and I know you are excited too. So today we are going to see the literally the famous data type for the Python, and that is dictionaries. Jumps rolling. So now let me just switch my screen to actually show you the code. So we are in our favorite VS Code, and now what we are going to do is first turn on the charger because my battery is quite low. Now, so today's topic is dictionary. So, as its name suggests, what are these? These are actually nothing but key value pairs that used to store data in structured format. So there's a short and crisp statement of what dictionaries are actually. So, so there are some features about the dictionaries. That is, it contains mapping of keys to the values, and we use brackets to filter the dictionary by index. And about the mutability, it is mutable, and there is also a condition, or I should mention that special condition, and that is the keys must be what it must be hashable. That means whatever data type have a hash value that can be created as a key, and the data types that have hash values are data types that are immutable or generally hashable. For example, strings. Yeah, strings are also you can say immutable. Tuples, which is not a convenient way to you can say enter these. Also numbers. So these are the common things that can be used in the as a key in the you can say dictionaries. So always remember this condition that the keys to the dictionaries must be hashable or immutable. So this is the you can say the top priority of condition that you should follow every time. So what if we pass? So let me just create a dictionary first. So creating dictionary. So how to create a dictionary? That is quite simple. Put curly braces like sets, but this time it have a slight you can say trade-off, or you can say just a small catch that you have to write the key values pair. So how these keys value pair are actually written? Keys colon values. So that's how you define a dictionary. So let me just copy and put that in comment, and let's just create our dictionary really quick. We gonna create a colon. Let's say give that a value 1, and b, and give that value 3. Then we define c and give that value 4. So let's say we have these three elements in our dictionaries. So we can also put an enter. So this that is our dictionary, which contains three keys and three values. So each key is mapped to a value. So that value can be also, let me put a thing here, hashtag values can be either container type or it can be an single element. So that's about the elements. Let me just print this dictionary and also type check of this variable d, and when we hit run button we get our output that this dictionary this d is actually a dictionary, and the d is printed in this way. Now there is one thing that I want to show you. Let's say we have created a similar dictionary. First of all, let's add a tab space here actually. We enter actually. So this time I'm going to use E as a notation for dictionary, and let's add an element A again and assign its value of 5. And then what we are going to do is we are going to do the same thing as we do with dictionary D. Just print it. Okay, so there is nothing much of a rocket science here up until now. Now, do you think there is some change or not? I believe you get to see the change here actually. Yeah, and that is our A now holds value 5, and the A that we put at the last is actually not present here anymore. And why so? So keep in mind that, so let me put that above this statement actually. Keep in mind that if you create two keys with same name, then what gonna happen is the value to that key is going to be the one you pass return. So this is the thing that you need to keep in mind every time. So actually there are two things. First is this special condition, and there is this thing that helps you in how the keys are actually defined. So they must be unique actually to summarize it. And the next we are going to see is what are the operations, and before that let me show you how this special condition holds in itself. So what we are going to do is just copy it, paste it, change the name of the variable. Okay, now this time what I'm going to do is pass an hashable data type, let's say list, and try to run this. So we get an error, it says unhashable type list, and this also means that if you type any data type that is other than hashable, it is going to give us the same error, that means unhashable type, and then the key data type that we have written actually. So I'm gonna comment it so that the code is not affected later. But I do recommend you to keep that in mind. So next we are going to see the operations in dictionaries, and the operations that are actually most common in every container data types are: first is accessing the value from in dictionary, and the other is updating the dictionary, and the last is deleting the dictionary. So these are the three operations that we are going to see in the dictionaries. So first, how to access the value. Now to access the value in a dictionary, we have to pass the key in square brackets. How to do that? Let me use this D dictionary here. So if I use this D dictionary here and I want to print A, so what we have to do is we just have to fold, or you can say the slice the dictionary based on the key that is present in the dictionary. So what if I, you can say, try to run this, we get the value 1 because in dictionary D we have an value 1 in it actually. So let me just copy it here, so it is quite easy to understand. Okay, I hope this is clear. There is also a method to actually so let me discuss that later. So this is how you access the value in the dictionary. Next is updation of dictionary. So the dictionary can be updated by the same method as we, you can say, get the element. So that means create, give it a new key that you want to enter it. Let's say D this time, and then pass the value that you want to assign to that key. That means let's say 9. Now what we are going to see is the dictionary D is actually updated, and we get our dictionary in the new format, and now the dictionary have an extra element D in it with the value 9, but here we have only 3 elements. So that confirms how we update the value of dictionaries. Now how to delete a dictionary? That is quite simple. Just put del. Now be careful while using this function. I will not recommend using this function because it can lead to the data loss. So I will just remove this from our code block. Please don't mind that. But it is for like not showing you what is wrong. It might be easier to, you can say, not doing anything wrong. Yeah. So now we are going to see about the functions that is actually applied to a dictionary. So functions. So there are some functions that we are going to see, and the first is get. The second is the default. And the third is zip. Maybe zip is not that function you can say for it, but maybe the update, and that's all the functions that we are going to see in the dictionaries. So let's start with get function. So get works the same way as accessing the value of a dictionary. So if you want to access value of A, so it means if I use a dictionary D, and we call the get here and pass the key value. As you can see in the doc string, that it is asking us for key. So if I pass it with a, we should get the same output as we get in the slicing of you can say, or the accessing of dictionary values. So if I try to print that here, what we are going to get is 1, which is the same as previous one. So that this means our dictionary is going to return as the values that are present in it using the get function. Now the benefit of get function is that benefit of this function is that it does not give us an error if the output, if the key is not present in dictionary. So this is the main, you will say, advantage of using get instead of directly slicing the dictionary. So what if I want to show you the example first? So first we are going to print D, and also there is no need because dictionary have this 4 element of A, B, C, D. Actually keys, if I talk about element, please consider is saying as the key value. If I will speak it, so now we are going to slice the dictionary and just going to get the value of E, say what we are going to get, and as expected we get an error which says the key error. That means whatever the key is not present in our dictionary, it is going to result in the key error. Now what if this time I try using get? So many of you will think that actually I should not have told you or about the functionality of get, because that will be much fun. So as you can see, the E is not present in our dictionary, but still returns some value, and that is none. That means there is no presence of any value in it. That's what none represent in Python, and I hope that's clear to everyone how the get is actually beneficial for our purpose. Now, the next function is set default. So set default is actually self-explanatory in itself. That means it explains that if we want to add an element and there is a situation when we don't know what value is going to be present in that key, so we decide and come up with a, you can say, certain value that is going to be default, and that is going to set there before we pass any certain value. So to it's better to show than going to pick. So what we are going to do is we are just going to do d dot set default, and the key value for set default we are going to use d value, and the default value is every time we are going to, you can say, create a dictionary element, we are going to set its value to 4. Now printing our dictionary. So as you can see, there is not much change because we already have a value, or you can say a key D with a value assigned to it as 9. Now if I use the same situation, but this time I am going to do one thing, and that is I am going to pass an element in it, and rather than 4 I am going to pass none to show you the actually to show you the how these things work. And if I run this thing this time, it adds a new element to our dictionary and assign it to it the none value. The none can be replaced with anything. None can be replaced with anything. So it is a quite helpful function when we are, you can say, creating a JSON data structure. And if you want to, you can say, keep the structure similar every time, we actually create a, you can say, a skeleton of our JSON file, and that skeleton can be created using the setDefault function, and that is quite helpful in our purpose. So I recommend you remember this every time we are going to use. Now, the last function that we are going to see is update. So as this name suggests, uh, we use this function to actually update the dictionaries. Now let's say if you want to add, or you can say concatenate dictionary E and dictionary D. So in this situation, how to do so? So let's say I'm just going to show you directly. So update, I'm sorry, yeah, D dot update E. So what should be the expected output? What do you say? It should return a dictionary with every element of E present in the D. So let me show you the output first, or maybe, come on, let's just run it. And we get none. And why so? Let me just quickly do that again. Okay, sorry, I just can't seem to find the changes. That's why I panicked. But we get the change, and why the change is a none actually, because in E we already have A, B, and C. Now, to show you how this function actually works, I'm just going to create a temporary dictionary, and this time I'm going to use G3, comma H. Let's say this time I'm going to pass it with a list of two elements. And if I want to update D with F, what is going to return? It's still none. I don't know why it is not working right now, but maybe there is some issue with the code. Let's say if I try to reverse this, this should work. Still giving us none, or maybe uh, okay. So as you can see, we get our dictionary F with the element of D in it. That means first F only contains these two keys G and H, but now after the updation, it contained keys like A, B, C, D, and E. So, and at the last, we get our dictionary F with all the elements in it. So, this is all about the dictionaries that we seen today. And I will say dictionary is quite helpful in creating the data structure, unstructured data, and also it is quite helpful when we are trying to save the model parameters in machine learning and AI. And there are some more use cases for dictionaries, and I believe you will explore them yourself. And if there is some special case that you want me to cover, I am always there for you. So that's all for the dictionaries.